Please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Fair enough. Just about 20 seconds left for markets to close. Sometimes all-time highs are taken out by gaps.
Yeah.
So let's see if, tomorrow morning first take, all you need is 0.4%,
right? Yeah.
0.4%, less than that,
Less than
0.3%.
that, yeah.
So perhaps tomorrow morning is the day, even if you hit there and then come back from there. But in terms of stocks today, the big movers, Grasim was up 8%. That move, of course, happened because, the cement stocks moved, ACC, Ambuja, Ultratech. Grasim also has a large part of cement business, so that's why that was up 8%. Larsen and Tubro ahead of numbers was up about 4%, so big move on that stock. Hindalco was up about close to 6%. Indiabulls Housing was up 5%. Tata Steel, HPCL, GAIL, Vedanta. These were a few stocks where we saw some big gains. On the way down, what was interesting was that some of the leaders of this market have corrected. Kotak, Bajaj Finance, Hindustan Unilever and Reliance. These are four names that come to mind where you've seen declines. Kotak was the reason that the Bank Nifty didn't perform. It's got 14% weight now in the Bank Nifty, so that's why you saw that underperformance for the Nifty Bank. But really, today and yesterday have been the day when the retailers should have felt good about their stocks because midcaps have done well. Today, advanced decline was really strong.
Oh, absolutely. And, I want to start with stocks that have made a huge move in the dying moments of trade. Bajaj Electric and Crompton Consumer. There is some talk that maybe there could be some kind of protectionist duty measures that India might take to prevent any sort of dumping or any kind of, extreme imports coming in from some of the Southeast Asian countries. So if you see the intradays later, you'll realize the kind of move. Bajaj Electric is suddenly up 9%, 10% as the market was closing out today. Anyway, beyond that point, let's also talk about the other big movers and shakers today. Today was a day of, good numbers getting really rewarded and even average numbers managing to get past the market's quality gates. So GSK Pharma 14% on the higher side, L&T Tech about 11%, L&T Infotech about 5%. Balaji Amines, again, strong numbers, good commentary from the management, 10% on the higher side. Cement, we've been discussing ad nauseum, was the theme and the sector of the day. So ACC fired up the entire space. Pull up something like an India Cement or a JK Lakshmi Cement. Across the board, large cap, mid cap, cement stocks were doing extremely well in trade today. Then I'll move on to something like a Century Ply. Again, Century Ply, pretty strong numbers coming through, 5% up on that stock. Good numbers, solid numbers from Radico Khaitan, particularly some of the operating parameters that we've seen, margin expansion, straightaway circuit on that stock, 5%. USL, now that we're talking about the market being in a charitable mood, USL is probably case in point because here the numbers missed the street estimates. They weren't as good as what people had in mind, yet the stock gets away with a 0.5% increase. Ditto story for Kajaria. Kajaria numbers, nothing to write home about for the first quarter, yet the market is choosing to be a little benevolent. 3% up on Kajaria. That was the kind of reaction you got. Delta Corp, 3.5% on the higher side. Tejas Networks, 5%. V-Mart Retail, 3% up. Fertilizer stocks saw a bit of a move because there are reports that the nutrient-based subsidy scheme could be extended all the way to 2020. So you saw that on a GNFC, RCF, some of the complex fertilizer manufacturers. Pull up a Coromandel as well. So these were the stocks that were up between 4 and 5%. Ashok Leyland has seen some buying, 3.5% up on that big stock today. Voltas has seen some buying as well, so lots of names. Some of the rail stocks are very excited. There's some talk about a tender. Titagarh Wagons about 20% up. Tex Rail was up 20% circuit. Some of the sugar names like Dwarikesh, Renuka were on the move. So plenty of names on the upside. Philips Carbon about 10% higher. VIP, I'm not even done with my list. PFC 9, 10%. It's just such a long. NIIT Tech about 8%. If I carry on, Anuj, I think I'll take more than 10 minutes to finish this up. Yeah. Short point being that it was a very, very good day for a lot of the mid caps. Just some of the sort of ones where there was a bit of a negative tinge. So Granules is down about 3%. We've seen some cool off on Hexa, where we'll get the fine print on the numbers when we come back to trade tomorrow. That stock was also down about 2%. In Jubilant Foodworks, approaching the numbers tomorrow with some caution at very heady levels. Today it was down about 10 rupees.
I think NIIT Tech is interesting, 7.5% higher on that stock. For me, the issue here is the two-day rally that you've seen in Nifty Junior. Is it start of something big? Is it start of something fresh on the junior index, or is this just one of those cases where because it's just beaten down to pulp, that's why you've seen? But this is a big move happening right now. 2.5% today on top of 1.5%. I think, or almost 2%. In fact, if you see this week, this week has belonged to the Nifty Junior, which normally is a sign of a sort of a healthy move. You don't want the small caps to be surging. This is perhaps good quality stocks. But is this a move which is going to flatter to deceive? I think we'll find out. But if you tomorrow hit new all-time high, this will look much better than, say, last week if you would have an all-time high when advanced decline was 1:4. Continuously stocks were hitting 52-week lows. This one looks far better rally than last few days.
Absolutely, it is a better screen. On that note, let's take final thoughts from our guests. Sudeep, so would you venture out recommending any mid-cap stocks at the moment? Maybe any one or two ideas that you're convinced of?
Well, I think, one stock which has been beaten down significantly is Ashok Leyland. It got a lot of traction when things were going good. Then this entire higher load thing came in, and the company has been beaten down mercilessly. I think, it's a temporary disturbance. The demand will come back. And also remember, the vehicle scrapping policy is somewhere going to be announced. One doesn't know whether it's going to be happening in a couple of months or maybe it'll take 6 months, but it's going to happen, and that will give a significant boost to these vehicle manufacturers, particularly Ashok Leyland. So I think at current price it looks very attractive. I think for an investor it's a good buy. Also, I'll just highlight the entire complex fertilizer space. This continuation of the subsidy is a very good news for this space, and a company like Coromandel Fertilizer should be looked at current valuation.